When you begin your new job, your employer says they'll match your 401k deposit. Um, match the 401k deposits you make by 50% up to 5% of your overall salary annually. When you start your new job as a college grad, you'll make $39,600 per year. This is just a supposed. And you decide to take full advantage by matching by depositing 5% of your monthly salary every month. If you ever have an employer that does this, by the way, you should very much consider taking advantage of it. And hopefully walking through this problem, we'll kind of see why it's so beneficial. You're just putting away money for yourself for the future, but then you're also getting money from your employer for doing that. All right, how much will you be depositing in the 401k each month from your salary? So we're going to deposit 5% of our check. Now, they didn't give us our monthly salary, so we have to figure out how much we make per month. And then we have to figure out what percentage of that we are putting in. You can do it in that way that I just said it, or we could just figure out what 5% of the whole year is and then divide that by 12 to get the months. I'm going to do it that way because that's how I put it in my notes. I'm sorry if that was worded poorly. So let me actually just take a pause. I'll reword it the way that I'm going to write it, even though there were two ways to get there. If we take our entire salary and find 5% of it, this is for the whole year. 5% of the entire year's worth of salary, that's $1,980. All right. But again, this is for the whole year. So every month you're not putting in that amount. You're going to put in 1 month of that amount, meaning 1/12 of that. 1,980 divided by 12. 5% of salary. Monthly contribution. So 1/12 of that $1,980 is $165. This is how much that you are going to deposit every single month. And your employer said that they would they would deposit 50% of that. All right, so you put in $165, they'll put in half of that amount. All right, so we need to know what half that amount is. Well, 165, or instead of half, let's actually just find 50%. It is the same thing as half, but just to keep the percentage wise, because what if they'd said we put in 30%? You can multiply it to find it that way. 165 times 0.5 is going to get us that 50%. This is $82.50. All right, you put in 165 this month, your employer puts in another $82.50. So overall, every month, you are getting the combination of this 165 and $82.50. We add them together, and every month we should be putting in, or combined, it will be putting in $247.50. How much will you have in the account in 45 years if it pays 6.7% APR? So this is an annuity situation. We have this deposit amount every month for 45 years with this rate being added on. Deposit amount of $247.50. I know you're not the one putting in all of that. Your employer's helping out, but that's still going into the account every month. So K is 12 times in a year. And we are looking into the future value of 45 years from now with a rate of 0.067. So we're going to that annuities formula. P sub 45, or P sub N, is the deposit amount, 247.50, times 1 plus R over K, raised to the NK power, that's 45 times 12, minus 1, divided by R over K. All right, we put this in our calculator and we get 851,939 0.16, all right? I see that I had already rounded when I wrote this into my notes. You probably got something a little bit longer, all right? But when you round, this is what you should get. So let's ask our question, or our continued questions. This is what the account has. How much interest was that? Well, to find the interest, we have to see how much was deposited and then take the difference between the future value and the deposit amount to see what was gained in interest. Well, the deposit amount was $247.50, and that happened every month for 45 years. It's 45, right? Yeah, for 45 years. So the deposit amount is this product, which was $133,650. So the interest is the difference between the account value, $851,939.16, minus the amount that was deposited in. So the interest value was $718,289.16. Sorry, this is such a long video. It's one big problem and I didn't want to break it into multiple videos. We have one more thing to talk about. So let's just say, what if we didn't take advantage of this? What if I needed that extra money? I needed that extra, how much? $165 every month. So I couldn't afford to put that into my 401k. If I didn't take advantage of this situation, how much money would I be losing from my employer in interest over the 45 years? So we're not just losing the interest here, okay? We are missing out on this $718,000 because we're not putting any of our money in the account. It's not accruing any interest. On top of that, we're missing out on the amount that our employer added in just because we were contributing. So we're missing out on all of the interest and the employer contribution. Sure, we get to keep the amount that we would have put into the account. All right, well, what amount was that? The $165 every month. Sure, we get to hang on to that, but we're losing this $82 a month, $82.50, and we're overall losing all of this interest. So if I want to know how much total I missed out on, I need to put together the total amount of interest and the employer contribution over those 45 years. So remember, the employer, contributed $82.50 every month. So 12 times in a year for 45 years. Your employer would have contributed over those 45 years. They would have put $44,550 into your account. All right, on top of that, you're missing out on all of this interest that we had just calculated in that last part. You're missing out on both of these pieces. So the total amount you're missing that you've effectively lost by not taking advantage of this is the addition or the sum of these two things. You would ultimately miss out on $762,000. All right, $762,839.16. You'd think I'd be better at reading those numbers by now, but we're still struggling over here. All right, it's huge. So hopefully by walking through this problem and the other one you'll see in the homework, you get a little bit more of an idea of how beneficial these kind of deals are with your employers if they ever offer them.